Okay. Hi, Alice. Thank you so much for agreeing to this conversation with me. How are you?
Hi, Jeremy. Thanks very much for having me. I'm good, thank you. A bit tired, as you could probably see from these big shopping bags under my eyes. So looking forward to the long bank holiday weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. I have been on all your social medias platforms this morning and your YouTube channel and your website, and you got so much going on, which is exactly what I want to get into. But just quickly before we do that, maybe you could just briefly introduce who you are and about your work.
Yeah, of course. So my name is Alice Hendy. I'm based in Portsmouth on the south coast. My day job involves working as a cybersecurity specialist for an insurance firm. So I do that full time, and I've been working there now for about 3 years. Before that, I spent time doing the same job really at HSBC Bank and Barclays Bank up in London. And aside from my day job, I'm also the founder of a suicide prevention charity called Ripple, which I founded in 2021 in memory of my brother Josh, who I lost to suicide in November 2020.
Okay, so that was going to be one of my first questions, because I've seen the work that you've been doing, and you've managed to build something so incredible, and to hear that you've been doing it since 2021 is absolutely amazing. So I wondered whether this was your full-time thing or whether you had another job, and obviously you're working full-time and trying to do this on the side. So if for anybody that's listening or watching this, please do go and check that out. I will put all the links in the description of Alice's charity and all the work that she's doing. So this is off the back of the loss of your brother, which is of course so sad to hear. And so you already were in these fields of cybersecurity. So to kick off this charity that you've now kicked off, it was a transfer of skills, or you've brought people in, or to help you build this.
A bit of both, really. So I knew what I wanted to do, and that primarily was to provide people with a short message of hope when they're online and they're searching for harmful material. That's what I wanted to do. And instead try to encourage them to go and get mental health support, as opposed to accessing some of the really nasty, harmful material that is quite often available for people to access on the internet. So with that, my story and really what had happened got picked up by the news, and then the national news. And actually an individual called David Savage, who I didn't know, apparently was eating his breakfast one morning and saw me on BBC Breakfast and got in touch through the website and said, look, I get what you're trying to do, and I think I can help you make it happen. Since then, David has really kind of become one of the family, to be honest. He's also now a trustee of the charity, and Ripple wouldn't exist without his help and guidance. So it started off with me with an idea, really, in my parents' living room, and it's become a bit of a monster with lots of amazing people who volunteer their time for a good cause.
Yeah, fantastic. I've seen the Instagram posts where it shows the whole team of people working for the same thing. Can I ask you to explain a little bit about what the charity are actually doing? I know you've got some online software that would be great to get an explanation for that, and how people could possibly use it and what it does.
Yeah, so the reason that I wanted to set this up is because when we lost my brother Josh to suicide, I went through his devices and I found that he was looking at some really harmful stuff on the internet. So the idea here is that we're providing a piece of tech that, once downloaded, if somebody was to then go online and search for something similar to what my brother was searching for, relating to self-harm or suicide, then the Ripple tool would be presented to them. The Ripple tool has a message of hope at the top, and then a selection of mental health resources that they can access both now and also in the longer term as well. Essentially what it is a browser extension. So it's available to be downloaded on Google Chrome, Microsoft Edge, Opera, soon to be Safari. And we're going global with that as well. And once downloaded, it just provides that interception. So in terms of how you can download it at home, if you go onto my website, which is ripplesuicideprevention.com, on the top right, there's a purple button that says install. And on there, I've done a 60-second video on exactly how you can install a browser extension onto your computer. Really easy to do. And for 60 seconds, you know, that might just actually save a life. So you don't know really what people might be going through and what they're searching for. So I'd really encourage anybody listening to do that.
And it's really, I hope it's hard hitting for everybody that's listening, because something like suicide is something that I feel like everybody is beginning to see is happening so frequently. And to the thought of somebody actually searching on harmful things on how to possibly carry this out online is absolutely mind-blowing for people. So it just seems like if we could encourage everybody to download your tool, I'm guessing it doesn't affect the way that the mobile phone operates. It's just something that works in the background.
Yeah, exactly. And you've hit a really good point there. Unfortunately, this is such a massive problem. Searches for people, people have been conducting searches relating to self-harm and suicide a lot, especially since COVID. It's actually gone up by 125% since January 2019 of people searching for that material. So it's a real problem. In terms of how the tech actually works and if it interrupts anything, as you said, it just sits in the background. You don't know it's even there, to be honest. The dream for me is that Ripple is never seen, ever, because that would mean that nobody is then searching for harmful material. So the idea is it sits in the background and it only ever comes up if people are searching for things, to be frank, where they're in crisis mode. This is a crisis intervention tool. We're not talking about, you know, searching for mental health or well-being. This is for people that have had enough.
Okay.
And it's a safety blanket for the people that might be in that particular state of mind.
And I feel like, well, personally, in my own experience, in my own life, I know a number of people that have taken their own lives, especially young men. I want to really open this conversation a little bit more on my platforms, because I feel like something that we don't talk about also is children who are committing suicide, which is happening. And like you say, they are in these forums and in these chat rooms and interacting with people, trying to find out information on how they should do it, or possibly be encouraged to do it. Somebody told me a story on just the other week of, there was a WhatsApp group going around, and an adult found it, and all the children were encouraging this person to take their own life, which is just absolutely astonishing and truly scary. Do you know, how do you feel about society's approach or the way they're handling this situation of suicide at the moment?
There's still a massive stigma surrounding the topic of self-harm and suicide, just broadly. I mean, even from my own personal experience, having lost my brother to suicide, it's a difficult, horrible topic, isn't it? Nobody wants to actually speak about that, but it's so important that we do. I've had friends that I've known for, 25 plus years that have not really known how to talk to me anymore. They don't know what to say to me. They feel like they're treading on eggshells around me. And so the way that they've dealt with it is to not talk to me at all.
Wow.
And I don't blame them for that, because they don't know how to deal with the topic and the situation. And it's a lack of education. It's a huge lack of education and a massive stigma surrounding the topic. I think in terms of the societal impact and what can be done, the government have introduced the online harms bill. And without going into that, in too much granular detail, to be honest with you, in my opinion, it doesn't go anywhere near far enough to stop the harmful material actually being presented on the internet in the first place. And if it is on the internet, the people behind the scenes on these platforms are not doing anywhere near enough to actually remove it before it impacts people. My brother was one of those people that you mentioned, that's being encouraged to do, the act of taking their life. He was one of those people. He was given pain scales for each method to help him make a decision. And I feel now that it's my life purpose as his older sister to stop this happening to anyone else, and to stop any other sisters waking up in the morning and feeling how I feel.
Yeah, man, and all power to you. All power to you. It must be a incredible, the purpose really is there for you, and to try to stop anyone else going through this pain, whether that be the person that actually takes their lives or the family surrounding the person that takes their lives. Then just all power to you. I wish you all the success. Another point is,
Thanks,
which probably I'm sure you're experiencing is not being talked about enough, or there is not enough support, is for the family of the person that's taken their life. I experience a lot.
Yeah.
In the subjects that I talk about on my platforms, which is predominantly sexual abuse of minors. And there's hardly any conversation about how you would deal with finding out that somebody in your family, maybe even your son or daughter, had gone through something like that. There's no support for the family around that person. Again, it's probably through a lack of conversation in our society in general. Do you have anything to say about to families who have gone through something like this?
I think they're trying to improve what support is available for families. I mean, if I take my family's experience, it was appalling. And I look back now actually in disbelief of how we were treated. We got a knock on the door at 5:58 in the morning from 2 police officers. We knew what it was. We knew what they were going to say to us immediately. They sat down, they told us that they'd found my brother, and then they left. And that was it. There was no support as to, what has actually just happened. The only way I can really describe it, Jeremy, is that somebody set a bomb off in our living room. That's the only way I can describe it. And I think it took me months to actually almost come out of that state of disbelief, of shock, of anger. We were given a guide. Help is at hand, I think it's called. We were given a guide that is actually very good. It's quite informative. It tells you everything that you've got to do, because losing somebody to suicide is just so different to losing somebody to natural causes. It's just not even in the same hemisphere, to be honest. And the coroners, all of the coroner investigations and all of the police correspondence and so on is just so much more to deal with, really. So that booklet was good, but in terms of actual human support, it was pretty much non-existent. So there desperately needs to be more of that. I've personally found an organisation, a charity called Suicide and Co. of use. They actually offer free counselling to anybody who's been bereaved by suicide after a 6-month initial period.
Okay.
And it's free to access, and they're a wonderful charity, and it's with counsellors that are actually trained in people that have lost someone to suicide, because that's the other thing. I've tried counselling since losing my brother, and they were talking to me like I'd lost my 90-year-old grandmother in hospital. It's just not the same as losing a 21-year-old brother in such horrific circumstances. There's no comparison. So I think it does need to be specific with regards to that kind of support, really.
Yeah, so it's probably a lack of training, a lack of funding, a lack of structure within these companies like the police force, and hopefully if we can start raising the awareness of these or getting these topics out into the open, then it will feed back into these systems, and we have our fingers crossed that they improve with time.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. It can only get better, I think.
Right. That's that. I feel like that's the only attitude we should take, because otherwise everything starts to feel a bit pessimistic and overwhelming, and then we're not going to make any moves forward. That's my personal opinion. What's your big? So when you see Ripple as a charity, and you've registered as a charity, is that correct?
Yeah, we're a fully registered charity. Our charity number is on our website and so on. So yes, we are.
Okay, and I see that you've got a Just Giving page on your website as well. So if anybody wants to contribute to your work, yeah, please do go and do that. I am trying my hardest to avoid registering as a charity, because I feel like I'm going to have so much red tape to go by, and so much paperwork and things like that.
Yeah, and I have to say, you'd be right. To be honest with you, they don't make it easy. They really don't make it easy for you. And considering that people who are setting up a charity on the whole are trying to do something good, they're trying to do something to help other people, whatever it may be, whatever topic it is that they're addressing. But obviously, as you know, sadly, there are some people that kind of ruin it for everybody else, that are trying to take advantage of those situations as well. So there's a reason why it's all there. But in terms of actually registering as a charity, yeah, it's a tricky one. But here to help, Jeremy, if you wanted to do it and you need a bit of a helping hand, as somebody who's gone through it.
Yeah, thank you so much. If it comes, if it's something that I can't avoid in the future, then yeah, I'll definitely give you a shout. So outside of Ripple, so at the moment, Ripple is mostly, and correct me if I'm wrong, is mostly about trying to get everybody to download this software on their mobile phone or their laptop, etc. Do you see anything, further than that? Where is your vision going past? Is there a vision past that? For example, I'm very interested to know if you have any ideas about getting into schools and talking in front of young people.
So Ripple is available to download for free at schools, colleges, universities across the country. So if anybody's listening to this and they've got kids, this is something that you can download at home on your laptops and computers for free by going onto my website. And if you've got kids at, at local school, local college, university, please mention this to them, because it's a free tool that they can install en masse. It's not something they've got to go on to, each individual computer to download. The IT departments at each of these schools, colleges, universities can download this to thousands of machines at once if they wanted to. Wow. And it takes, 5 minutes. It's really, really easy. The other thing with this is businesses can download it.
Okay.
So from a charity perspective, we charge businesses purely because we're a charity. We're trying to keep going in order to keep developing our tech, getting it to be more intuitive, and to save more lives. We need funding to do that. So businesses are the only organisations that we will ever charge for this. They can also install this en masse as well. My employer, QBE Insurance, have been unbelievable to me since the day I started at the company, but actually also since I lost my brother. I haven't ever seen support like it, and I'm so grateful to them. They have installed this now across all of their machines in the UK, but also in Australia, New Zealand, America as well. This has gone global. We're now able to you're now able to download Ripple in English-speaking countries first and foremost. So Australia, New Zealand, America, Canada, Ireland, Scotland, Wales, South Africa. And then we're kind of working behind the scenes to create bespoke versions and translated versions of the tool elsewhere as well. So this really is a tool for everybody. I've had people in their 80s tell me that this is useful to them. And I've had parents of children as young as 7 tell me that this is useful as well. So there's no reason really why not to download it.
Yeah, I think that's a fascinating, that's an incredible feature, because then the school or the college can just, like as you just explained, can just install it on all of their their computer systems.
Yeah,
And
for free as well.
yes,
you know,
yes.
quite often the problem that they have is that they don't have the funds to do things like this. This is free. We're literally giving you something really, really simple and straightforward that can save lives. And it is saving lives, particularly in universities,
Okay.
who have a massive problem at the moment of
Wow.
student suicides.
Wow.
So lots of them have already downloaded it. We're coming up to 300,000 downloads now in a 6-month period of time. So yeah, we're only going to go up and up, hopefully, and more people are becoming aware of it.
Yeah, okay, that's just fantastic, and absolutely incredible numbers as well. So it's the fact that it's free and can be downloaded en masse is really incredible. Do you know if in schools and colleges and then universities, which, by the way, to hear that universities are having a problem with student suicides, I mean, I just sometimes feel like what world are we living in? This is just, it's almost like, would I be wrong in saying that it's out of control?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, it really is. And for some reason, I'm finding that, businesses and universities are approaching me once something has happened.
Yes.
If somebody has attempted to take their life, or if they've been impacted by a suicide in their business, that's when they want to talk to me. I'm urging people to do this now. Don't wait until somebody actually does this before you start to do something and realize it's a problem. The fact is here, you don't know what people are going through. You don't know what they might be searching for. Quite often, these individuals that do this are the life and soul of the party. If you line them up, you'd think they were probably the last person that you would think that would do this. And that's the benefit of Ripple. It sits in the background and it just provides that subtle intervention when somebody is at crisis mode, and instead redirects them to get that hope. But if anybody is listening to this, please do something now, and don't wait for this to happen before it becomes a part of your agenda.
Yeah, Alice, we are fighting similar battles here, with trying to get people to take action before the incident happens. Absolutely. There is something that I've heard quite frequently when people discuss suicide, and I apologize if this it makes you angry instantly. It made me angry instantly, but I've heard quite a few times people respond to people who have committed suicide and saying, "Oh, that's selfish of them." Now, is that something that you've heard before?
Yes, it is. And actually, I can understand that frame of mind that people have, thinking that it's a selfish act, because if you look at it, you think, well, they've left everybody behind. I could quite easily say, right, my brother was so selfish because now it's just me to look after my parents until they pass away. So I'm going to be the only person to do that. I had to sort out the funeral. I had to sort out all of his estate and his debts that he was in, and contact all of the organizations to tell them what he had done. I had to ring around all of his friends and his family and tell them what he'd done. Is that selfish that he's put all of that on me, dealing with the coroner's investigation, and, to be frank, living the rest of my life heartbroken? Because that's what I am, and that will never change. So I can understand why people say that. The reality is, people who do take their lives are very, very ill. They're not thinking straight. They're not thinking about the impact it's going to have. They're not thinking about what you have to do after they're gone. All they want to do is end their pain and live in peace. And that's not selfish. They're unwell and they need to get away from the pain. So just take a moment, I think, really, for those who say that it's selfish, to really immerse yourself in the topic and understand it before making comments and judgments of people. Because again, you don't know what they're going through, what they have gone through, and how they're actually feeling. And if you put yourself in their position, you know, you might actually feel the same.
Yes. Excellent explanation there, Alice. I really do feel like that's so useful. And when you use the word, when you mention that people who are committing suicide, the large majority of them are actually ill, that I think that helps people really understand a bit more. It's not like they woke up, well, I'm going to guess that the majority of people that do this, they don't wake up one morning and go and do it. This is maybe something that has been festering in their mind, maybe for even years.
Yeah. It varies, to be honest. It really varies. I've met lots and lots of people that have been bereaved by suicide over the last year and a half. Some of them, it was very, very impulsive. Something happened that triggered it. So they could have lost their job. They might have split up from their boyfriend or their girlfriend. Something has triggered it where they think, oh my God, I can't live without this aspect of my life. But the vast majority have struggled for some time with their mental health. They might have even attempted to take their life several times beforehand. And my brother was one of those individuals. He tried probably 5 or 6 times before he actually did it.
Okay.
So it does vary, but yeah, on the whole, there's a build up of events that lead to somebody doing that cause it, and there's a variety of different causes, obviously, for people that actually do it in the end.
So now it really highlights the importance of this prevention measure, because if somebody has attempted suicide a number of times, or they've been thinking about it for some time, if we can catch them early enough and work with them in whatever ways or whatever techniques there are available to get them to make a U-turn in some way, then that's everything that we're after. That's why I'm very interested whether you have any plans for work in these types of areas alongside the tool. Well, I suppose the tool is actually doing that, isn't it? The tool is actually intervening.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and we've actually got and this figure blows my mind, but we've actually got 35,000 words, phrases, questions built in to the back end of the technology. And if any of those words, questions, phrases are searched for, Ripple is triggered. Now, if you just said to me a year and a half ago, name me 30 ways that somebody could end their life.
Wow.
I could probably tell you about 10.
Yes.
But it is unbelievable what people search for. Like you just wouldn't. As I said earlier, people are ill. People are seriously ill who are looking at this stuff, and they need support, and they don't need people judging them for that. And that's what Ripple is all about. It's providing that non-judgmental interception if people are looking at things that can be, classified as dangerous. And getting them to that support. But in terms of, expanding Ripple, I said at the beginning, I've created a monster here. This is something that we can do with regards to eating disorders, gambling, financial problems, relationship problems. The list is endless.
Yeah.
People are suffering with all of these things every single day of the week. And Ripple, the concept, is ready for that. So yes, lots of plans going forward to expand. And the whole purpose of this, Jeremy, is we want to help as many people as we possibly can.
Absolutely. And my mind is buzzing because as you just mentioned, I feel like for the prevention of crimes of a sexual nature, for anybody that's using the internet to, because they're feeling like that's something that they want to do, there's plenty of keywords that would be fantastic to steer them away
loads.
from. I mean,
Yeah,
how
exactly.
incredible, how incredible. So you have a massive team of people. Yeah, I see you've got like, how many people have you got working on this?
I think it's about 17 now.
Okay.
So two of them are paid.
Yeah.
Two of them are now paid members of staff that work full time on the charity, and that in itself is just amazing to see how far we've come. You know, since we registered it was a year ago that we registered as a charity. You know, so they work on this full time, and then the rest of us, myself included, are all volunteers. The majority of the 17 individuals have actually also been touched or impacted by suicide directly themselves, as you would probably expect. These are people that have come forward to me, so I haven't gone looking for them. They've come forward to me and said, I really believe in this. I want to help you.
Incredible.
And it isn't just a comment of, I can help you do this, and little things. Their full-blown commitment towards this cause is just unbelievable. And it's no joke when I say that Ripple wouldn't exist without them. I might have had the initial idea. Sadly, I've got the story that I wish I didn't have. But these people are just unbelievable human beings. And it's a real team collaborative effort. And they're all pulling in the same direction as me to stop this happening to any other families. And I'm grateful for them every day.
Absolutely fantastic. I am in a similar position where I've managed to build a small team. Maybe there's 4 or 5 of us, and some are paid. I am paying some of them because they are freelance artists in their own right. But that I've got 3 or 4 volunteers that give me some of their time every week, and it's really incredible because they actually believe that whatever you're trying to achieve is possible completely. And they don't want to do anything else but that.
Makes it so special.
Yes.
That's exactly it. That's what makes it so special. If you've got people that actually, this is their passion, they actually want to help and make a difference, you can't ask for more than that. And I think that makes a very powerful combination of people to try to make a change. And that is what we're now seeing. We're getting approached daily now by massive organizations.
Wow.
At the beginning, I was going out asking people, telling people about this, and I wasn't really being given the time of day because, why should they listen to me? I'm a grieving sister sat in a lodge in my garden, telling them that, I've got this piece of tech that all it took though is a couple of companies to say, do you know what? Yeah, we're going to do this, to add a bit of credibility. And it's just been a domino effect. And it's good because it shows that mental health is firmly on the agenda of people. But the difference is we're not, a money-making scheme or profit-driven organization. We are a charity, and we are simply trying to stop this happening to other families.
How do you feel about your life taking this direction of being in the public eye? I see that you're on LBC Radio. Congratulations. I see that you have been doing lots of interviews on national TV. How do you feel about being the face of Ripple?
If I'm honest, I struggle with that a little bit. As I said, this is my story and I set up the charity. I don't particularly like or enjoy being seen as the face of it because the charity is much, much bigger than me. And this is also about Josh, not me. The whole reason that we've set up Ripple is because of Josh. Saying that, the feedback that I've had is, the reason that people seem to be resonating with Ripple is because I've actually got that story. And I'm talking from experience. You know, I'm not just some random person who's come in and said, you need to be doing this, this, and this. I'm actually living the nightmare every day. And it's recent as well. You know, this is only 18 months ago that this happened to me and my family. It's still very, very raw. And I think people want to hear, you know, from somebody who's actually experienced it, to give that guidance of actually what it's like. Look, if it means that the charity is getting promotion and somebody out there is listening to what the charity is about and then goes and downloads Ripple, I will do 1,000 interviews if I have to.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I feel like to have a personal story that people can relate to in some way attached to the charity, I think that really helps. Just human nature. I feel like.
Yeah. I get that. It does help. But yeah, at the same time, it's, you know, you don't want to be seen as the face, as I said, that is much, much bigger than me. And I'm just the person with the story in the background, really.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Alice, I'm trying my hardest and very close to achieving getting into schools to talk to young people about abuse prevention. And I am working very hard with the best ways to do that. For example, to present in front of a group of 10-year-olds is quite the challenge compared to presenting in front of adults.
Yes, it is.
And then presenting in front of 15-year-olds is also another challenge in its own right.
Yes.
And I'm trying my hardest to put this presentation together in an engaging way that I have the young people's attention, and they're not sitting there being like, oh, when is this guy going to finish talking? Right. Which I just remember all the presentations when I was at school being something like that. So I would like to include, you know, a lot of the presentation is about reaching out to somebody if you feel like you need to, you know, and what your options are for that, and what you could possibly expect back as a response from that. Who could you go to? And just trying to empower the young people that if they want to, they can go and speak to somebody. Now that you've been doing this work for some time, how would you advise a young person who is going through, let's take a minor, so under 18, where their life is very fragile in many respects? What advice would you be to a young person who is going through any sort of challenge in their life?
I would say that there's so much support out there in ways that you might not expect. So I did a presentation actually, and I completely resonate with your point around the challenges of presenting to young people as opposed to businesses. It's just a completely different ball game. But I did a presentation actually at my old school that me and Josh both went to.
Wow.
Just a couple of weeks ago. And it was with a group of year 10s. So we're talking kind of 15 years old. And I tried to make it as engaging as possible. And I think I succeeded. But when I said to them at the end, right, you know, where would you go if you were struggling? Where would you go for support? What organizations are there out there? The only ones they'd actually heard of is the Samaritans.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And actually, that wasn't good, because for them just to think that they can only call over the phone to get help is not accurate. So I introduced them to other support services such as Shout, which enables a young person to text for free to get support, and they can text with you on your phone. Okay. That means you don't have to talk about it. You don't have to verbalize it. You can just sit there watching telly. Nobody will know that you're doing it, and you can just text them for support and tell them what you're going through. So that's a great one.
Incredible.
Another one is Calm, especially for the young lads. Calm is a web chat facility, so they can speak to somebody over the web chat, or they can call them as well. You've also got some brilliant apps that exist as well. There's one called Stay Alive, which is an app from a charity in Brighton called Grassroots. It's got loads and loads of information on there around, if you're struggling, tips, advice, support that you can get. There's also forums that you can go on. A really good one is called Click, CLIC. It's free, it's anonymous, it's moderated 24 hours a day by mental health professionals. And you can connect with people that are going through the same thing, because there will be more people that are going through exactly the same thing as that person is. So it was really just opening that door really to other services that exist, and showing them about, the wealth of support that is out there for them. And failing that, friends, family, teachers, they're all there. They will all want to listen to you.
Yes.
So I think the biggest advice I could give is, whoever it is that you choose, talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah. Please just make that step, isn't it?
Yeah.
Did you present using PowerPoint, or did you show videos? Or I'm really interested to know how you came, how you addressed the challenge of talking to year 10s.
Yeah, I did do PowerPoint, but it wasn't, loads of text. It was engaging. It had pictures in there. I did have video content in there as well. And I also did some quizzes and competitions. And I had a bag of Ripple merchandise for the winners.
Amazing.
And that seemed to go down a storm. It seemed to go down a storm, and people were obviously much more engaged. If you've got a couple of prizes to give away, people are much more engaged, and they think, oh, okay, yeah, actually, I want to win that T-shirt or that wristband. And it was all still on this topic of self-harm and suicide.
Yes.
The actual competition that I did was, I would read out a statement, and I'd ask for a show of hands on if they thought the statement was a myth or if they thought it was truth. Amazing. So that was one of my my competitions. Another one, I asked for some input on what you need to look out for in somebody that might be struggling.
Amazing.
And I got lots and lots of engagement from that as well. And it went well. I think they got something out of it. And actually, by the end, they'd all also put Shout's text number in their phones if they were struggling going forward as well, which I was really pleased with.
Oh, come on. That sounds so incredible. It sounds so incredible. Have you got plans to get into more schools?
When I'm asked, absolutely. I'm also working at the moment with the Department of Education to actually kind of be the blanket, if you like. So rather than going into different schools and doing this to lots of different organizations, I'm trying to get it to come from a central source, actually, so that they can promote this within their teachers and then disseminate the information down. But yeah, look, as and when a school asks, I'll always go in and support the students. Yeah,
incredible. That's incredible work. I'd like to speak with you about what I know as the overwhelming statistic of men committing suicide over females. What are the numbers? Do you know the numbers of that?
I don't know the specific numbers, but what I do know is that in the UK, 75% of suicides are male.
Wow.
And that's a real problem. A real problem. My brother was in the almost the most common category, if you like, with regards to his age and his gender of individuals that are struggling. But there's clearly a bit of a male related issue here. And I think the majority of that is actually caused by comments such as man up, the old traditional viewpoint that men should be the breadwinners, appearance, how they look. Social media has a huge part to play in that, peer pressure. There's lots and lots of things that I think are reasoning behind why that is such a problem. But we need to start normalizing this topic, and we need to start making it okay for men and young lads to actually say, look, I'm struggling, because actually that shows a hell of a lot more strength than not talking about it.
Yeah, I feel like packaging it like that, which is actually the correct way to look at it is fantastic, to let men know, or young boys know, that actually speaking out about it is such a strong and powerful move. It's nothing to feel ashamed of.
Yeah.
It's not a negative thing, you know.
Yeah.
It's like they used to say when I was younger, the braver man walks away, you know, from a confrontational situation.
Yeah.
When we were young, we were like, no,
Yeah.
you know, that's not the way it is. It's the loser that walks away because he's the weak one. But it's almost like we need to turn this on its head, you know.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly that. And I think there's some celebrities that have recently come out and expressed how they're struggling, and I think that helps actually. So I'll give you an example. I'm not sure if you're a football fan, Jeremy.
I know a little bit about football, but I'm not a follower.
Okay. So Everton centre forward Dominic Calvert-Lewin came out just last week and said, I've really struggled with my mental health, and the only way that I improved that for myself is by talking.
Wow.
Now, him using his platform, of which is, you know, millions and millions and millions of people who, by the way, are predominantly men.
Yes.
Because of the football following. Yes. That is huge for him to do that. And you might have some young lads, particularly in Merseyside, who might see that and they see Dominic Calvert-Lewin as their hero every weekend. For him to say that, they might think, oh, well, actually, you know, it's okay for me to do it as well. So I think celebrities who are starting to actually open up and lead the way in saying, actually, it's all right to be struggling, it's all right to feel rubbish, and look at all the support that's available to you, that is starting to help and make a difference. But yeah, you're right. We've got a hell of a lot of work to do to turn that on its head and to tell people that actually it's a strength to talk up, not a weakness.
And the celebrity thing is something I'm praying for my work as well. We've had Jesse Nelson from Little Mix make a documentary on Netflix about online abuse. We've had Kieran Dyer come out 5 years ago. I think he was a England football player, and he came out about sexual abuse. Yeah. And another Man United player, someone, I can't remember the name, Patrice Evra. Yes, came out about sexual abuse as well. And that is more powerful. In a moment, they create the most incredible awareness. You think Patrice Evra talks out about that. Now, he's talked about it on TV like a number of times now. The amount of young lads that are looking up to these footballers, and it straight away breaks down all of those barriers of stigma in an instant, because actually that young person feels like they know, you know, if they're a Man United fan, as an example, they've watched Patrice Evra play week in, week out, and they feel like they know him, especially with social media. You feel like you know these people now. And so for a celebrity to speak out, I mean, that makes so much ground, more ground than we could make in years, I feel like, at times. So in my school presentation, I've got an idea to actually show some of these videos of these people who these young people will know speaking out, and try to help with that. So Alice, we are soon coming up to the hour, and I just trying to keep these interviews to an hour. I am really inspired by the work that you're doing. I feel like what you've achieved since 2021 is really phenomenal, and I think people will take a lot of encouragement from that. I'm going to put all the links and everything to your charity, and where I'm sure there's going to be a download link of some sort. Is that correct? Or you go to the website to download?
Yeah, go to the website, and at the top there's a button that says install, and if you go on there, there's all the links to whatever browser it is you're using, and you can download it from there.
Yeah, okay, fantastic. And can you just remind people what your website is, please?
Yeah, sure. It's www.ripplesuicideprevention.com.
Okay, fantastic. And it's a incredibly exciting time for you, Alice, when I saw the team sheet that you have, and you know, everybody playing their part. You know, you've got like the content creator, you've got like PR people like in Australia, yeah, it's truly incredible. I really wish you all the success. I'm gonna snippet this interview actually and try to push it onto all of my platforms, because just trying to learn social media is a crazy thing, you know. TikTok works in one way.
It's a task.
Instagram works in one way. Facebook is a different audience. Facebook like longer videos. TikTok is obviously short and snappy. So I'm going to try to cut this interview up and spread it everywhere. We will tag you in everything that we do. I just want to say thank you for amazing. Yeah, thank you for giving me your time. I'm sure you're extremely busy and working a full-time job, which is super impressive. And let's just stay in contact, because I feel like a large part of our mission, well, our mission is prevention, and a large part of that is getting in front of young people to help empower them and encourage them.
Absolutely. And, you know, anything that we can do to collaborate together, because I think that the two topics go very much hand in hand.
Yes.
And can lead to another.
Yes.
So anything we can do to collaborate together, please do count us in.
Yeah.
Because, you know, together is power, right?
Absolutely, Alice. Thank you so much for your time, Alice.
It's a pleasure. Thanks, Jeremy.
Thank you.